Bill Schwab, winebuys.com here with Eric Titus from Titus Vineyards. And we're talking a little bit about, well, we moved on to the red wines. We had this regular Cabernet in the 05 vintage, which was just outstanding. I really fell in love with it. For the price tag, about 40 bucks, sort of blown away. And we're expecting good things out of the Reserve here. This is the Reserve 06 vintage, which was a little bit more of a difficult vintage in that, correct?
A little more typical, but 06 and 05, the weather patterns, they're cyclical in Napa. So 06 was a little bit of a wet year.
I said a little more difficult, not typical. But
sorry.
A little bit more of a difficult vintage. Not a disastrous, and you just don't see disastrous unless some fires or flooding or something like that.
No, we didn't have anything like that, to be sure. We had some weird spiking during the growing season. Some heat in July before the grapes had even turned color, which basically, they didn't damage the grapes, they just pushed the season out. Because when you get that kind of heat early season, all it does is it shuts the plants down, and you can pretty much add that same amount of time to the end of the season. So again, similar to 05, it was a late harvest, and we were also blessed with Indian summer-like conditions in October, which gave a very even and thorough ripening to the fruit. So again, we had very little raisoning, no late season heat spikes. So it was.
What jumps out here is it is ripe, but it's not overripe. I'm not getting that raisiny, pruny, overcooked, overdone sort of aromas from the glass.
Yeah. 06 was. I think it was viewed as a vintage that was a little more concentrated fruit, a little more jammy. But then not like those light rainfall years like 04 and 02, which were really known for jammy, big, opulent wines, and much more traditional wines and ageability and balance.
This is a big wine, though. I mean, it really is really mouth filling and just silky smooth. For my personal taste, I like a lot of acidity and backstretch. As I get older, I notice that I like that kick of tannins in the back of my teeth. I like my molars to sort of feel it. A little bit of a pain with my pleasure, And this is missing a little pain for me, but for you, it could be perfect because it's just so rich and opulent, full bodied, without being jammy or without being that candied fruit sometimes you fall in love with. Very silky, very rich. There is tannins there, but they grip very softly along the cheeks. You get a little bit of acidity in the center of the tongue, but you don't get that drying effect on the cheeks, and you don't get that burn in the center of the tongue, and almost no heat from the alcohol.
Yeah, there's what differentiates this is it's a vineyard select, but we also just treat the whole blend differently. It's more riper fruit. It is a little hillside, so you're getting more concentration, less Petit Verdot, more Cabernet Sauvignon, and then a richer barrel program. Much more New French oak.
And so good finish to it too.
So it's more of a tactile experience than a flavor profile.
It goes past that. When the first sip, I thought the flavor lingered, but no, it was actually an evolutionary finish to it, which is really, really nice. That lingering finish, not a fan of. I don't want to taste the same thing over, but when it evolves across the palate a little bit on the finish, it's really nice. I could say I fell in love with it more than the regular Cabernet, and for a different purpose. This is a wine that I have to put in almost the pure cocktail or meditation wine category, where I'd have to sit there and pull the cork on this wine and sit and work my way through it. Well, it's not really work, but really sort of enjoy it and see how it evolves.
And it does evolve. Yeah. As you, right now we're halfway through the bottle. Half hour later, when we're down 3/4,
you'll be a different.
There's this whole different aspects on folding, sweetness, chewiness, creaminess.
Well, I'm sort of doing a reverse. When I first tasted them, I sort of like the regular Cab better because it served more of a natural purpose of a food wine with me. While this, now I'm really starting to fall in love with this, because it gives a true definition between regular and reserve, which is a problem I have with a lot of wineries. Is the reserve doesn't really get me anywhere. So many times I've said, hey, if you're buying wine from winery X, let's say, winery Y, you're better off spending less money. You're better off going with their standard because the reserve just doesn't deliver for the extra money. Well, this actually delivers a different wine, more more depth, more richness to it. While it's not as food friendly, people out there, sorry, tell them like it is.
Not to say that it isn't food friendly, but it's
I don't think it's as food friendly
not as diverse
as the regular Cabernet. It's much more of a contemplation wine, much more of a wine you have to sit and think about and work with and enjoy. It's something that I put in the meditation category, or just a great cocktail wine. You can really share this with friends, and as I taste more and more of it, I really like the way it evolves across the palate, and it's not a one-hit wonder. There's some wines out there that while they're contemplation wines, while they're meditation wines, you pour a glass to 12 different people that think it's the best wine ever. You drink half a bottle of it and you're like, I'm full. That's all I can take.
Right.
And most of them come from Napa Valley. They have single names, like family names. We won't get into all that stuff, but great juice here. We're probably looking at about 65, which is our front line on this, but as much as I've sort of fallen in love with this, I really like to get it into people's hands. I'd like to squeak it down under 60. Tony, you're going to have to do the math, sort of get yourself feeling a little better there. Tony's under the weather, by the way, folks, and we're going to try to get the math down and try to get it well under 60. I mean, I want to be at 58, maybe 60, and ship it to you for free. I don't know where I'm at with it. We're going to try to get it as low as possible. You'd like to see it at 65, I know, but
I like to see it in people's hands.
yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. I want to get it in
yeah.
their hands, you know. Get them addicted to them. The first one's free.
That's always a good policy.
Great juice, outstanding. Thank you, Eric, and thank you.
All right.